Hi students, welcome to the video session, and today we are going to continue the topic weather and climate. In part 3 we are going to learn about difference between weather and climate, impact of climate and weather instruments. The different weather instruments that we will be learning in the lesson are thermometer used for measuring the temperature, barometer used for measuring air pressure, anemometer and wind vane for wind speed and wind direction, hygrometer for measuring humidity, rain gauge for measuring rainfall. And in this part we will be learning more about thermometer. Other instruments we will be learning in part 4 of the video. First, let us study about weather and climate. We have already learned it in part 1 of the video. Let us just recall what we had learned. Weather refers to the day-to-day conditions of the atmosphere at a definite place and at a fixed time. The atmospheric conditions are never static and keep on changing. Temperature, humidity, cloudiness, atmospheric pressure, precipitation, wind speed and direction are known as the elements of weather. Climate refers to the average atmospheric conditions of an area over a considerably long period of time. The degree of change in the climate differs from place to place. For example, the climate of Britain is so changeable that it is often said that Britain has no climate but only weather. On the other hand, the climate of Egypt is so unchangeable that it is said that Egypt has no weather but only climate. Climate relates to a large area, whereas weather relates to a small area. Therefore, geographers have divided the whole world into different zones based on the climatic conditions in these zones. These zones are known as climatic zones. Now let us discuss the difference between weather and climate. Weather is the condition of the atmosphere at a definite place and at a fixed time, whereas climate is the sum total of weather conditions of an area over a considerably long period of time. The elements of weather change constantly, whereas the elements of climate do not change much with the time. Weather refers to a short-term state, that is, a day or a week or an hour, whereas climate refers to a long-term state. For climate averages, a minimum speed of 35 years is desirable. Weather relates to a small area, whereas climate relates to a large area. Now let us go through the impact of climate. Climate has a profound influence over man's activities. The type of food we eat depends on climate, as different crops require different climatic conditions for their growth. For example, in India, the kharif crops like jowar, bajra, rice, etc. are grown at the beginning of southwest monsoon, as these require high temperature and heavy rainfall. The rabi crops like wheat, barley, on the other hand, need low temperature and less rainfall and are therefore grown in winters. The clothes we wear depend on the weather conditions. During summer season, we wear light cotton clothes, and during winter, we wear heavy woolen clothes. The kind of houses we live in are influenced by the climate. In the mountains and areas which get heavy rainfall, the houses have sloping roofs to allow the rainwater or snow to slide off easily. The way we live and work depend on climate and weather. People living in cooler areas, as in the mountains and hills, undertake terrace cultivation and animal rearing, whereas people living in the hot tropical places have agriculture as their main occupation. Fishermen follow weather broadcasts before they sail out for fishing. Climatic conditions influence the longevity of human life. It is usually seen that death rates are high in the tropical countries than in the deserts. This is because in areas of high temperature and low humidity, germs are not readily transmitted. Air communications depend on accurate and timely meteorological reports from ground stations. Climate also influences the presence of plants and animals in a particular area. For example, like mango and palm trees grow in warm areas, whereas pine and fir grow in cold areas and dates and cactus grow in hot deserts. Similarly, animals like polar bears are found in cold areas, whereas elephants and lions are found in warm areas and camels in deserts. The next topic we are going to learn is weather instruments. The meteorologists usually make use of a variety of instruments to measure elements of weather like temperature, atmospheric pressure, humidity, rainfall, and direction and speed of wind. Today, we are going to learn the first instrument, that is thermometer. What is a thermometer? The instrument used for measuring temperature is called the thermometer. A thermometer is a narrow glass tube filled with mercury which expands on heating and contracts on cooling. For measuring temperature, two types of scales are used. First, the Celsius or centigrade scale, and second, the Fahrenheit scale. In Celsius or centigrade scale, the boiling point is 100 degrees Celsius and the freezing point is 0 degrees Celsius. In Fahrenheit scale, the boiling point is 212 degrees Celsius and the freezing point is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature varies from place to place. In open daylight, the temperature is quite high because of the direct insolation of the sun. This makes it quite difficult to accurately measure temperature. To avoid this difficulty, the thermometers are kept in box called the Stevenson screen. This protects the thermometers from the sun's direct heat and allows free circulation of air. In order to find the daily or annual range of temperature, we need to measure the maximum and minimum temperatures. To measure the maximum and minimum temperature during a given time, 6's thermometer is used. It is also known as maximum and minimum thermometer. In this thermometer, the maximum temperature can be noted from the scale at the end of the index on the right hand limb, whereas the minimum temperature can be noted from the left hand limb. This thermometer preserves the readings of the day's highest as well as the lowest temperature till it is reset by moving the markers using a magnet. Nowadays, an automatic thermometer called the thermograph is used at weather stations. It gives a continuous record of temperature over a period of 24 hours. This makes it possible to study the maximum and minimum temperature during the whole day. We'll be back with other weather instruments in the next part. Till then, keep reading the lesson. Thank you for learning along. Thank you and have a great day.